Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we are diving into the secret spiritual life of, well, rocks. But not just any rocks. We're talking about Taiwan's powerful, deeply respected, and honestly pretty hardcore guardian gods that just happen to be stones. So picture this. You're walking down a quiet country road in Taiwan. You pass a big, old boulder just sitting there by the path. You probably wouldn't even notice it, right? I mean, it's just a rock, but what if it was something more?
Because here's the thing, in Taiwan, that very same stone might actually be a stone lord, or Shito Gong. It's not just geology, it's a revered local deity, a spiritual heavyweight that an entire community might pray to for protection and blessings.
Okay, so the big question is, how on earth does an ordinary rock get this kind of divine promotion? Well, the answer goes way, way back to an ancient worldview called animism. It all boils down to animism. This is the ancient and, I think, beautiful belief that everything in nature, especially things that are really old or huge or just unique, has a spirit inside. So when early people looked at a massive, unmovable boulder, they didn't just see a rock. They felt a presence, a power. And that's the very beginning of Taiwan's most hardcore nature gods. So a stone can end up on the path to divinity in a few different ways. Sometimes it's all about its shape. Maybe it looks like a person or has a really unique color, like the famous Huang Shikong. Other times, stones are placed very deliberately to ward off evil, kind of like spiritual security guards called shigandeng. Some stones become famous for performing an actual miracle, like saving someone's life. And then there's my personal favorite. Sometimes a rock causes so many problems during a construction project that the workers figure it's just easier to start worshiping it and ask for its cooperation. All right, so once a stone becomes a full-fledged deity, what does it actually do? Let's get into the Stone Lord's job description, because trust me, they have some pretty serious superpowers. Job number 1, their main gig, is something called zensha, which basically means warding off evil. Back in the day, if a village was built in a spot with bad feng shui, or maybe it was facing a mountain that looked a little too much like a tiger ready to pounce, they'd set up a stone lord. The idea was that its solid, immovable presence was the ultimate spiritual shield. This really sums up the whole attitude perfectly. The core belief is basically the stone saying, hey, I don't care how strong your evil energy is, I'm harder. It's this amazing declaration of just unyielding strength and protection. You really can't get more hardcore than that. But it's not all about being a tough spiritual bouncer. They have this incredibly tender side too. One of the most beloved roles a stone lord can play is renyifu, which means becoming a godfather. If parents had a child who was often sick or seemed frail, they might bring them to a stone lord and formally ask the deity to spiritually adopt their child. So why a rock for a godfather? It sounds a little strange at first, right? But when you think about it, it makes perfect sense. In times when life was fragile and healthcare was scarce, parents wanted the absolute strongest protector they could possibly find. A stone is the ultimate symbol of strength and resilience. The hope was literally for the child to become as healthy and strong as a rock, with a hard head, or tolkeying, which means tough and resilient. The child would then get to wear a special amulet called a long life lock as a constant reminder of their divine godfather's protection. And like any belief that's been around for centuries, the worship of stone lords has absolutely adapted over time. As society in Taiwan changed, so did people's prayers. The focus shifted from traditional community-wide concerns like protecting the whole village to more modern personal anxieties. Today, people might pray for personal success, for help with fertility, or just for the strength to get through life's challenges. This is captured perfectly in the modern belief in the Guantang Shi, or the penetrating stone. Get this. These are actual stones that were excavated during the construction of modern highway tunnels. Because these rocks were part of the massive effort to literally penetrate a mountain, they've taken on this new symbolic power to help people break through their own personal obstacles. How cool is that? Okay, the theory is fascinating, but let's make this a little more real. It's time to meet some of the actual rock stars, and I mean that literally, from the Stone Lord Hall of Fame. First up, we're heading into the bustling metropolis of Taipei, to the Naihu district, to meet a very, very old soul, Huang Shikong, the Yellowstone Lord. This legend goes way back. We're talking about this massive boulder with a really unique yellowish color that was found in a local stream.
The belief was that it had been sitting there for centuries, just soaking up the spiritual energy of the heavens and the earth. So early farmers started worshiping it, praying for good harvests and the right amount of rain. And today, it's still there, surrounded by the modern city, a quiet, powerful link to Taipei's agricultural past. Next, we're off to Longtan in Taoyuan City to meet Shi Ye Kung, a stone lord with a truly epic origin story.
So the story goes that during the early days of settlement, a man was being chased and was running for his life. In total desperation, he spotted a giant boulder squeezed into a crevice and just prayed for protection. And then a miracle happened. The stone somehow concealed him and his pursuers ran right past, completely oblivious. The stone literally saved his life.
Of course, he was so grateful that he started worshiping the stone, calling it Shi Ye, or stone grandfather. But the story gets even sweeter. Over time, people in the area came to see a smaller nearby stone as Xin Yang, the stone mother. So now you have this divine stone couple standing together, watching over and protecting the whole community. For our last stop, let's circle back to that incredible modern evolution we talked about with the Guantong Shi stones down in Taidong.
Right, so these are the breakthrough charms that came from building the coastal highway tunnels. Their whole story is about penetrating the mountain, and that has given them this powerful new meaning for modern life. People now seek them out when they need a breakthrough of their own, whether it's help with getting pregnant, the focus to pass a huge exam, or the push to finally get that big career promotion.
So we've heard these incredible stories, but what's the big takeaway here? What's the real spirit in the stone? And why does any of this really matter?
Well, it's so much more than just a quirky old tradition. The worship of stone lords is a living, breathing connection to ancient nature worship. It's a direct reflection of the real-world hopes and struggles of the people who first settled the island. It's also a brilliant example of how folk beliefs can creatively adapt to stay meaningful in our crazy modern world. But most of all, it's a story about our incredible ability to find something sacred in the everyday world all around us. So the next time you find yourself in Taiwan and you see a humble little shrine with a simple stone inside, give it a little nod, show some respect. You might just be looking at the oldest, most storied, and without a doubt, the hardest guardian on the entire block.
And that really leaves us with a final thought, doesn't it? What everyday objects in your own culture, where you live, hold some kind of secret, powerful meaning? It's something to think about. Thanks so much for joining me for this one.